I'd like to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. Procyon, one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz, proud supporter of our podcast network and everything we do. Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Rennell Jump and UConn legendary men's basketball player Jake Voskuhl. They specialize in tax plans for businesses large or small. They will save you money or get you a big fat return on your taxes. To schedule your free strategic tax planning session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Pete Finch and the Finch Law Firm is located in Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you've suffered any type of personal injury, slip and fall, car accident, your mother-in-law ran you over with her car, your wife got angry one night and decided to stab you, the Finch firm is for you. Pete has won legal battles all across the state of Connecticut. He will go to war to get every dollar you deserve in compensation. You just have to remember, in a pinch, call Finch or go to his website, thefinchfirm.com. Dynamic Human Performance is owned and operated by UConn legendary running back Andre Dixon. He trains boys and girls of all ages, all sports. He has a boot camp program 7 days a week, 6 a.m. You want to get in shape, you go to Andre. He has an athletic development program where he trains boys and girls in the sport of their choice from the ground up, helps them reach their full potential, be the best they can possibly be. Andre has sent boys and girls to college on scholarship for all different types of sports. To work with the best, he has a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility in Hartford, Connecticut. Go to www.dynamichumanperformance.com. All right, and we are here for Luther James Insurance with the man himself, James Whitfield. Great to see you, James.
Great to see you. Thank you for everybody for tuning in.
Yes, we have a lot of feedback to get to from last week's show. Okay. We talked about some misconceptions consumers have about life insurance. Kara was very active about this, and she said, there is a misunderstanding about life insurance where everyone believes that it just covers death benefit, and it is, as you explained, so much more than that. Who do you believe is responsible for that misunderstanding and that kind of developing throughout people not quite understanding everything that life insurance has to offer?
I think it's more farm expense companies. So, you're looking at TV and it's late at night. Oh, you see a commercial and it'll say, get coverage, get $300,000 of coverage for $59 or something like that. That's basically, I think where people get their education from. They get their education off television. When we were kids, what did we watch? Sesame Street. Education on TV, we learned our ABCs through Sesame Street. So
absolutely.
It's the same thing with grown adults, in the sense of, if you don't really know something, but you see it on TV, it's got to be true. And it's really half true.
Right. No, it definitely is. And I told you, I hear commercials in the car talking about insurance policies for $299. And I'm like, that's BS. That's complete BS. And it's worthless.
Yeah, and it's what they call putting asses in seats.
It really does. I mean, it shocks the hell out of you, but then people don't read the fine print and they get caught up. She also wanted to know, is it possible to convert a term life insurance policy into a whole, or a whole life policy?
Depending on
The carrier.
So
Okay.
I'll just pull one out of the air. If you got like a policy, let's say you had an annuity. Well, let's say you had a term policy with National Life Group. National Life Group has other products that you can convert into one of those products. And not to advertise for National Life Group, they're not paying me for for anything, but it's just an example. So yes, you depending on the carrier and the company, yes.
Okay. And you talked about this. I mean, you always try to put the right policy in front of the right person. Yep. Have you done this before? Obviously, and the person may have fought back, may have argued with you. Yeah. And how have you been able to handle those situations where you know that you're putting them in the best position to have success with this policy? It's definitely what's best for them in the long run. Yeah. How do you handle dealing with that and, helping them understand instead of them passing on it?
So I ask a ton of questions in the beginning before I start pulling out any kind of policies or prices or anything else like that. Right. I need to see the headspace of the client, and anything I suggest it's not for my benefit, it's for their benefit. So
absolutely,
I'm not trying to put somebody in a whole life product if they can only afford term. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
But I can make sure that, hey, if things get better, you can switch this product to this product.
So you would put them in term, and then you would put them in a product where they could be converted into whole.
In worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Like my thing is to get you on a product that's good for you. I always think whole life is better because it has a lot of advantages that other products don't have. And you have whole life products. You do have some whole life products that does not collect compounded interest for you because like final expense. Final expense is whole life, but it's limited whole life.
Right.
But it all, that also comes up in how old the client is, the health of the client, and the health and age together of the client. That's how I determine what kind of product I'm going to put them in. I'm not just going to willy-nilly sign up somebody because they're 60 and trying to get them to, get a higher commission because, this type of product pays this kind of commission.
Of course. There was a question. I didn't even see this until today. There was a former NFL player who was 25 years old and committed suicide. And if they had a life insurance policy, are they still able to collect on it with suicide? They're not. Okay. Not at all.
Not at all. You forfeited a ton of money because you jumped off a building or something.
So any kind of suicide, it does not pay.
Nope. If you're dealing in some reckless stuff, they're not going to pay you either.
That's what I figured. Yeah. Kara would also like to know, is there any ethical gray area that insurance agents today don't like to address or talk about?
Not that I can think of, but again, it depends on the agent. Yeah. I'm as transparent as glass. Yeah. I mean, some guys will just sell you things in the hope of you're not asking any questions.
And then, I mean, you personally, how would you say you avoid the conflict between what pays you the most and what helps the client the most? And I say you always do what's best for the client. I mean,
for me, like my dream client would be somebody like 20, 25. Yeah. you make a good amount of money. Yeah. And you want to start looking out for your future right away. I might get out of 20 people, I might get one of those every so often.
Is it because, like, I mean, if you contact them, is it something that they just aren't interested in, or something they don't think of, or
it's
think
all
they don't need?
Yeah, it's all above. Yeah, because like, I sell the cops, and I sell to young cops, and
right.
I stress that you're young, which is the perfect time to get insured because you're young. I think the caveat that I get them with is if you fund it enough that you can pull money out of the policy.
Exactly.
So some of them are only make 30 grand a year. How can I do that, and so on and so forth. And then what I'll do is I'll put them in a life insurance policy that they can afford. But I say, listen, come back to me in a year or two, because you should be making more money,
and it'll build over time.
Correct.
Is there any industry practice that goes on now that you think should be illegal or more regulated?
Yes. So I used to work for what's called an IMO. It's an independent marketing organization. That's what IMO stands for, Independent Marketing Organization. When I would sell something, let me back up. If I'm recruited into this organization, the person who recruits me is now considered my upline. So they see all of my clients, they see who I sell, they see how much I made, and it benefits them, right? Because you've recruited me, you made yourself a good amount of money off of me, so on and so forth. I won't name the organization because I'm getting ready to sue them. So I'm getting ready to sue them. So I had my upline steal clients while I'm still active with the company. I would make a sale. 2 or 3 days later, he would call my client saying I don't work there anymore, and will put them in another product. And what's stupid is you're cannibalizing your business, because I get charged back, he gets charged back.
Yeah.
What he tries to do is make me now work harder to replace that business with another client, so he can do the same thing over again.
You can do the same thing
and say that I owe him money.
How long did that go on for?
I didn't know, because it was like my first go around.
Well, right, because
it was going on for almost 2 years.
So your first 2 years doing this, that was like, happening?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Oh my God! And your only recourse is you have to sue him civilly. There's nothing criminally they can charge him with.
The organization did nothing about it. In a way, they kind of knew, because
they must.
This guy would get all kind of awards every year. Oh, he's the most producing agency, this and that. But what happens is the number of agents under him decreased, and now he's crying about he doesn't have any business.
How did you end up finding out? How did you end up catching him?
Some of my customers already called me, freaking out.
They're like, "Oh my God, you're gone. We just spoke."
And I was still there. Yeah. They would say, "Oh, I'm calling from Mutual." He would say, "I'm calling from Mutual of Omaha," and James sold you this product, and he's not here anymore.
He's not here. I'm gonna take over.
I can put you in something else with the same money you're paying. And I would get like when I would show up to the precinct, they would be like, I heard you not work for Mutual Omaha. I said, how's that? How's that?
That's right, because you work with the cops. That's hilarious. Yeah. It's not hilarious, but
no, it's hilarious because he didn't think that I would catch him. So I did a specific IUL with this sergeant, and she put a lot of money into it, and she was like, some guy saying that he called me and he's from Mutual Omaha, saying you're no longer my agent. And I'm like, I'm your agent as long as you have that policy. I'm your agent. So I asked her, I says,
dumbass.
yeah. So here's the funny part. I said to my client, I said, can you send me a screenshot of your in-calls where that number showed up?
Yeah.
And I traced the number. It was his son's phone. And his son.
So he even tried to cover that up.
Yeah.
That's beyond ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's beyond ridiculous.
Yep.
And how I mean, I can't ask, but I'm sure
it was hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
And then I got contacted by a group, some lawyers who are doing a class action suit to the company, and they put me on this board on Reddit, and I started looking at all of these cases, which was similar to mine. One guy was living out of his car because of this company.
So this company, it's really the company that allowed this to go on.
And still going on.
And it's still going on until this goes through the legal channels.
Like, but I brought it up to the president of the company, and I said, this is what's going on. And he then said, you're no longer
right, of course. That's
debt. But he never took the debt away from me. He spoke to the agent. The agent admitted to calling my clients, and he did nothing. And I'm like, why is he still here if this is what's going on? So
now that really isn't so much a gray area. That's pretty blatant. Does that help? Does that happen at other companies as well? I mean, will they?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. But the thing is, it all depends on if you catch on to it or not. So my thing is, anybody who recruits me should not be privy to my client list unless I leave.
Of course,
because I was
business.
Exactly. Now I was told that, when I joined this company, I build my book of business, I can take my book of business. You stole my book of business and corrupted it.
My God. That's like, that's a heist. That is. Yeah. And do you know other people in the company that it was happening to as well? Maybe not by that same person, but it was happening.
Well,
I found out.
I found out it was like one or two other agents, but they couldn't put two and two together because it's like who would do something so stupid? Yeah, and the fact that he used this kid's phone. Yeah, but his kid is in his agency. The kid doesn't work.
Well, of course. Yeah.
The kid doesn't work.
Yeah, of course, but that shows that the guy knows that what he's doing is wrong, and that he's using the phone. Yeah, that's crazy. So,
IMOs, in my opinion, should be really regulated and overwatched, because this particular company has a ton of complaints I knew nothing about when I joined.
So, I mean, I attribute that kind of like college football right now. There's a lot of issues with the transfer portal and NIL and payments. And I don't think they have the regulatory authority to monitor it. So would it be a company by company basis where they would have to have a regulatory group that monitors it, or is it just HR, or
it should be overall
industry wide?
Because listen, there are some agencies who does have a good track record. And then there's some that have a bad one. But that should be pointed out somehow. I knew nothing. I can't.
Yeah, you're new. I mean, you were new at this. Yeah.
And I was making sales from day one. Like, to be honest, I was working at one company, and I didn't even work for this company just yet. I was contract with them, but I said, because I'm independent, I can work when I want. And I just said, you know what? Let me put some time into this place because the commissions are better and this, that, and the other. I'm going to build a business and so on and so forth. And when I did that, you stole what I built.
So Erica, apparently you're liked by the women, just so you know.
Thank you, Erica.
We talked about the mental health issues last week. She said mental health disclosures are not easy.
No.
She said that you find out anyway.
Yep.
There's no way really around depression, anxiety, whatever. She said, she asked, is that a failure of the system, or is that something where, if people get off their medication, and aren't diagnosed as depressed after a certain period of time? I think you said 2 years for certain conditions. Here's
the backstory of all of that. If you're prescribed medication,
yes,
even if you didn't use it,
right,
for a mental health condition, even if you were prescribed sleeping pills, you're not going to get insured.
Period.
Because it's a prescription. So
right.
Insurance companies don't want to pay claims.
Right. So you're saying even if you get like Ambien or something like that, you're saying that there's nothing more you can do. Like even after a certain amount of time passes.
Correct. Well, I think depending on the company, a certain period of time, if it passes, then you're provisionally accepted. And I think what they do is they might do something where they monitor your behavior or whatever, and they will limit your access to the policy. And after a certain period of time, then you're granted full coverage.
Right. So she had asked, if you do have a mental health condition, the chances of getting any type of insurance would be basically final expense. Is that the best you could get? Unless
let's say, if you wanted to get an annuity and you had a bunch of money, you're able to do that. But you're able to get an annuity because they don't do medical. It's your money but there's also a death benefit involved depending on how much you use, how much you put in.
Oh, so okay.
That's like insurance also.
Another AI question. Do you think at some point they will have the ability to do underwriting using AI?
They do it now.
They do, but you said you do not.
No, I don't underwrite. I have a list.
Right.
Yeah. So what it is each company gives me a list of do's and don'ts, or what they accept and what they don't accept. And right. I try to stick to that before I write up a policy for that person, which is why I say to people when I talk to them, just be outright and tell me what's going on.
Just tell me now. Yeah.
Because if I have to find out, I'm going to be pissed off, because I'm going to find out.
It creates extra work for you. It creates extra time and effort for you.
I had one client who, to me, looked healthy as a bird, and I took her to like 4 or 5 places, and they kept turning it down. And one place told me why she was turned down, and it was because she was diagnosed as bipolar.
Oh, right. Because they technically won't tell you because of HIPAA or whatever. Yes. It's up to them to tell you.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
She also wanted to know, with AI, who do you think benefits from it, and who do you think gets hurt from it in the industry?
It's a loaded question.
Yeah. I mean, obviously does go both ways.
Yeah. It can go either way. So I mean, it's there to benefit the client.
It's got to streamline things for you at some point and make things faster.
It does. And like me, I'm just stuck with I just want to help as many people as I can. So I always try to find some kind of solution.
Right. This is a loaded question too, but she wanted to know, what is the biggest risk, financial risk or whatever, to the life insurance industry you could speculate, I guess, over the next decade?
The biggest risk is not participating in it.
That's what everyone says. Just the biggest risk is not getting it, right? Don't get coverage.
Exactly, because I get people saying, "Oh, I'm healthy. I don't need insurance," and I says that's when you should get insured because you're healthy.
Exactly.
Like you buy a car and you never say, "I don't need a car," because I already have one. If you like cars, you like cars. Or for women per se, I don't need that pair of shoes, even though they're nice, because I have a pair of shoes. I've never seen one pair of shoes in somebody else's closet unless they're broke.
Right. Right. No. No, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I totally get that. She also wanted to know, is ADD considered a mental health disclosure? Like if you say that you were diagnosed with ADD or ADHD?
I think if you were prescribed like Ritalin or something like that, if you were prescribed medication, that could be an issue.
Okay.
Could be. It could be.
Is that another situation where because ADD is different, if you're treated for it and you're off of it for a certain amount of time?
Well, there's different levels of it.
Yes.
Even someone who has Tourette's or something like that, there's different levels of it.
Right. But I mean, if you had a mild case of ADHD and you were taking Adderall and you stopped,
if it was prescribed,
yeah,
then I'm screwed.
So even if you get off of it in 2 or 3 years and have a 5-year period without taking it, can it be revisited?
It could be revisited, but it also depends on the carrier.
Yeah. That is what I figured. And you've mentioned being an independent carriers, an independent agent, and you work with all companies, and you have the few that you like some more than the others.
Yep.
But how safe are life insurance companies in general, really? And what should consumers look for beyond the commercials, beyond the marketing?
So I tell people all the time, do your own research. But what happens is when people do their own research, it's like diagnosing yourself.
Yeah.
You go to WebMD because you have a cold and you think that, you're going to lose a lung or you got 90 days left to live. So some people will take the worst extremes and apply it to themselves. I would say do your research and then talk with an expert.
Right. All right. I will
too.
Play this really quick. Down south, we have Julius Williams and the Trench Mob, located in Decatur, Georgia. They train offensive and defensive linemen. They compete in 5v5 tournaments and college showcase camps across the country. They have sent kids to schools like Florida State, Miami, Clemson, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, just to name a few. If you want to be trained by the best, you work with the Trench Mob. Julius has a virtual program. He can train you anywhere in the country, and they will make sure they have the highest percentage of kids that go Division I. Go to their website, trenchmobfootball.com, and sign up now. Ned Von Young owns Freshfold Laundry Company, located in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. High-end laundry service. You book online, You put your laundry out in a clear plastic bag. They pick it up, wash, dry, fold it for you in 48 hours. They have an expedited service that can do it faster. They also offer an online subscription model, weekly or bi-weekly. So you can have your laundry done that way whenever you want. They have deals for college students as well. So make sure to check out their website. It is my-freshfoldlaundry.com. All right. And just so you know, I did get the website wrong. It is my-freshfold.com. And we have a new sponsor. And James, I think it may be somebody that you could possibly work with.
Okay.
The PGF, the Professional Grappling Federation. They're out of Las Vegas, Nevada. They have a 6-week season. There are 4 teams that compete against each other in grappling jiu-jitsu. They have 7 members per team. They just did their draft, which was by auction, which I said would actually save NBA tanking. They should just have auctions for players in the lottery. We had Commissioner Brandon McGaffron on the other day. Very excited about season 9 and the way it works. There are each fight 6 minutes, 1 round, and you get points for whatever type of finish that you score. If you don't get a finish, you don't get points. And then at the end of the season, there are team championships and individual championships. So they're on YouTube. The season begins March 4th, which I believe is next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, you can watch it on YouTube, on their YouTube channel, anytime you want. It starts at 4:00 Pacific, but again, for us on the East Coast, you can watch it anytime you want. But again, it's another group of young people. I know that the job that they have may not be as conducive, but grappling, jiu-jitsu, that sort of thing, or their business, I thought that it could be somebody you could talk with and work with.
Okay.
And Julius has a tournament this weekend, and then after this weekend, we should be able to get you scheduled. So how do commissions? This is from somebody, Ralph, very interested in the industry. He appreciates the show and the knowledge you provide. He wants to know, how do commissions work, and how do they vary? How are they determined, basically?
So commissions are determined a couple of ways. So if you're working with an agency and you're contracted with X amount of companies under that agency has an ability to grant you a certain percentage. There's some that'll give you like 90%. There's some that give you up to 180% commission. So how that's determined is, let's say I wrote you a policy of $100 a month, and that policy, you have to now multiply that 100 over 12 months for a year. Now, if you pay it off for the year, that's even better. But yeah, that's better, because then I would get full commission. But if you're doing payments, I'll get paid anywhere between 6 months and 9 months in advance.
Okay.
And then a percentage of the premiums that I sold you times the commission rate of the agency that I work for. That's how I make my money. So if you had a $1,200 premium. So that's $100 a month.
Yeah.
I would really get paid $900 up front, plus, plus the commission rate that I have with my agency. And
are you paid throughout the duration of the policy? Like
yes.
if you said you signed someone in their 20s,
yep.
and okay, so they live till they're 80, you get paid on that policy throughout the duration.
Yeah, no, it decreases. It's not like I get the same money over. Yeah, it decreases over the years.
It does. Okay.
Yeah. Your sweet spot, I think, is in the first 5 to 10 years.
And then it progressively goes down after that.
Yeah, because if it's whole life, the money that's accrued in that policy increases. So
okay.
I'll get something, but it's not like I'm going to get 100%.
And then he had wanted to know about the commission on term life policies.
Same thing.
Are they?
Same thing.
Oh, it is the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same principle.
But I mean, if the client is paying a lower amount for a term policy, then your commission's much lower, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if I get somebody who wants $3 million, on the term policy, that $3 million death benefit might be $125 a month. So
right. Okay.
Still make the same somewhere around there.
Right. And the term policies typically, this is why they're term, it changes every 10 years. And that's what
depends on when you get it and how many years you have it for. So so
you can set it for a certain amount of years.
Yeah. So if I sold you at 20 years old, I sold you a 30-year term policy, then in 30 years, that's it. So at 20, you're now 50 at the end of your term. And now at 50,
you have to get reevaluated again.
Yeah. You still need insurance.
And you don't get, if nothing happens, you don't get anything from that 30-year policy that you just paid into, right?
You got to die.
That's what I can't get over.
Yeah.
If you're able to keep it going, does what you had already put into it up until 50 still count, or are you still starting from scratch?
If you die at 51, your family gets nothing.
Right, but I'm saying if you get to 50 and then you're able to get a new policy, does the old policy, the money that you put into it, do you still have access to it? It's gone regardless?
Gone.
You're starting from scratch again.
Yep.
Wow.
Unless you're converting that policy in its 30th year, unless you're converting it to whole life or something like that. But other than that, you have to do medical and stuff all over again.
That's crazy.
I tell people it's a waste of time and a waste of money. Yeah,
it sure is. Jeez. That is absurd. You can do it for 30 years.
Yep, that's it.
You got to hope you die to get paid. And
that's exactly it. And the thing is, insurance companies have a program, and they'll generalize the program as to the life length of an individual signing up for insurance. That's why they're able to get, offer what they offer. Because they want to.
Well, I know that you've talked about this before, but I mean, one of the most painful claim denials that you've encountered, and what a person or family could have done differently to avoid it, and so do it earlier. But
knock on wood, I haven't had a bad experience with people collecting a claim, but I won't call it a bad experience. It's a life lesson for the individual, because it's one of those I told you so things. So I sold an accident policy that was $15, and I said it's $15 a month, and I said to him, listen, because of what you do, and you're in a dangerous job. He's a cop. I said, get the accident, and then there's an accident sickness policy where if you go to the hospital and you stay in the hospital, even if you got it for a day or two, you're going to get paid from it. And he said, in his 20s, he's in his 20s.
Yeah.
Vulnerability, I don't need it. And it was literally 3 days after I signed him up. 3 days after I signed him up, he got into an accident on the BQE in Brooklyn. He got hit off his motorcycle by a cat.
Yeah, that's right.
He had to get helicoptered to the hospital. Like,
he got airlifted. Yeah.
The perfect scenario that I told him that he was gonna miss out on happened.
Right.
You could have put $10 on the lottery and won the lottery that day.
I mean, that just blows my mind.
He got paid. He got paid for his injury only.
Right. And the hospital was a fortune, probably.
He lost out. Yeah, he lost out on almost $7,000 because that'll never happen again. How it happened to him?
No. And people don't think of I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah,
and you have to be ready to accept that anything's possible.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the most a surprising factor to most people that can get coverage denied? And I besides the mental health and all that stuff, are there any other issues that you can think of that are surprising factors?
And it surprised me when it happened. I was signing up a client in Michigan, and she wanted me to insure her son, who was like 21, 22 years old. He's uninsurable because he had 3 speeding tickets, and they weren't like 5 miles over the speeding limit. This dude was doing 80, 90 miles an hour, which is why he got caught speeding. And because he's so young.
Yeah.
Because now you're a risk because you didn't drive 5 miles over the speed limit. Everybody does that. He drove 30 to 40 miles over the speed limit. That means you were flying.
Yeah.
And you did it not once, 3 times.
3 times.
So, it's that situation where this is who you are. So you're a risk.
How would they find your driving record? I mean, they're able to get into your DMV or
when you do an application for insurance, you have to give your date of birth and social security number. Your date of birth, social security number,
right? That tells you everything.
Everything.
That tells you everything.
Yep.
Are there any companies that you could hint at that could possibly allegedly overpromise on returns on cash values?
It's not the company, it's the agent. So
it's the agent who does it. Okay.
Yeah, because and then if the agent is over delivering, well, I won't say over delivering. If he is gaming the system, because I've seen people do it, where they write up a policy that will benefit themselves more than the client.
Right.
So just to get a bigger commission.
Right. Wow.
Yep.
And the other guy, Ralph, wanted to know what is the advantage that you have, being an independent agent. You're able to work with multiple different companies.
Yep.
The benefit of that as opposed to working for one company.
So in my case, because I'm independent,
right,
I have access to a back office of other companies. So like if I'm writing up a case, I have a sales manager I can talk to, or I have I have a sales manager and I'll run it by her or him to say, take a look at this illustration. Is this fine, or is there another way that I can do this for the customer that benefits. Because for one, I don't want to get in trouble. I want to keep doing business with these particular companies. You know what I mean? Whereas you go to one place, and I don't want to just pull out a company automatically.
No.
Yeah, but let's just say you did something with Prudential and New York Life. They have specific products. They have products that they don't have products that I sell, because for what I sell will generate you a good income if it's funded right. Now, they have products like that, but I have to be certified. I have to have like a Series 6 or a Series 7 or something like that. And that's and that's variable. And I don't trust variable anything. And
that's a lot to ask.
And how I look at that is you buy a house, and you can either go conventional or FHA, which is one particular interest rate, the entire term of the loan, and then variable. So variable means it's up one year, down 2 years, 3 years, sky high another 2-3 years. That's variable insurance. Same thing.
He also wanted to know, have you ever walked away from a sale that was going to be beneficial, that you just didn't feel right about?
I had a couple.
Really?
I had a couple. Because like I had one person where you're getting a particular policy, and it's gonna, will it benefit you and it'll benefit me? Yes, but if you can't provide certain documents and things like that, it's moot, because I'm not going to risk my license for anybody. That's how I make my money.
No, nor should you.
Yeah.
But that has happened where you actually have had good situations that you just didn't really feel great about, and you walked away from.
Walked away.
All right. Let me play the last one here, and we will finish up. Finally, we have James Whitfield of Luther James Insurance. For the last 3 years, James has dedicated himself to the art of financial services. He specializes in life insurance and insurance policies. He will save you money, make you a boatload of money, and do so tax-free. He also specializes in retirement planning, because we know the stress that goes into thinking about retirement. How much am I going to need? For how long? Do we have enough? Because fear of the unknown is real. To contact James, go to www.lutherjamesinsurance.com. All right. And we're going to change that to 4 years, just so you know. All right. So a couple rapid fire questions. Do you believe that life insurance should be more regulated or more tightly regulated? Yes or no?
I think it's fine the way it is.
You think it is fine the way it is? Okay. Yeah. Term, whole, or universal, what would you say is the most abused product?
Universal.
Universal. Oh,
abused.
Okay.
Abused.
Yeah. Abused, yes. Right. Yeah. Faster underwriting, a blessing or a curse?
A blessing.
What is the number one reason claims get delayed?
That's hard. That's hard for me to answer, only because a lot of my stuff, I never had a problem with people getting a claim.
Well, because you get all the information up front.
It's cut and dry. It's it all depends on what you did to get that claim. Because again, insurance companies don't want to pay, but I've never had an issue where it was denied.
And then finally, how many families, if you had to put a percentage on it, do you think are dangerously either underinsured or uninsured?
I got to say somewhere in the 70-75% range.
It's that high?
Yeah. Because either you can't afford it or you don't know about it.
Right.
It's one of the two.
All right, I'll ask this. Thank you, Chris D. What's the dumbest reason someone gave you for not buying insurance? And he's not referring to me.
The dumbest reason? Well, let's put it this way. There was an incident a couple of years ago in New York where a guy shot up the subway.
Yes.
And that's a rarity. And, that's one of those things that woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's a hypothetical scenario. Like it'll never happen here, and it happened. And you would think at that point, because it was so close to home, because everyone looks at tragedies on the news and it's somewhere else. It's not here.
Yeah.
I went around. I used to work the hospitals, and I would, talk to the nurses and stuff and show them policies. And I said, listen, you saw the news, I'm not trying to scare you, but if you don't have life insurance at all, like anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Just right there. Yeah.
I just pray to God that it doesn't happen. And not to discount someone's religious belief. You get what I mean?
Right. Yes.
But if something was to happen to you, who's going to pay for your funeral?
Yeah. And
or are you going to? Do you have money to leave your family if you're not here?
Yeah.
So praying to God is great. I pray to God every morning.
We all do. Yes.
You get what I mean? And to use God as an excuse to not get insurance. I've had people say to me, it's against my religion.
To get life insurance?
Yeah.
Right. It's against my religion.
It says insurance is in the Bible. Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
I must have missed that part.
Yeah.
I must have missed the scripture where.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know it all, the be all and all that, but I don't want to sound sacrilegious, but unless there's a miracle that would pay for my funeral out of thin air, not to discount anyone's belief, but you have to think of. I've had one lady where I was selling a Medicare, and then I just I asked her age, and I said, "Do you have insurance?" And she says she doesn't, and she said I said, well, how come you don't have it? Oh, because I have diabetes and I was turned down. And I said, well, I have a couple of carriers who will cover diabetics.
Right.
It just has to be a certain percentage, a certain way.
Yeah.
And I came to her with a price and everything, and she says, I'll let my kids decide. And her kids told me she doesn't need it. So I specifically said to them, do you have money to bury your mom? Because it's not free. What are you going to do? Throw in Potter's Field? I'm doing this to help you out.
Did they end up doing something after that?
No. And at that point, I wash my hands clean because I'm not going to beg you. If I have to beg you, it's not worth it.
No, you did your due diligence there.
People don't think that anything can happen to them, and
until it does.
It does, and you can't keep rolling dice every day, hoping that nothing happens. Listen, I almost died one night because I had a heart infection I knew nothing about.
Right.
I knew nothing. I didn't know I had it. I was in the hospital for 3 days. And this is before I was selling insurance. I was in the hospital for 3 days. Yeah. I thought I was going to die because my heart was racing so much. It felt like I was running a marathon when I laid down. It felt like literally someone was sitting on my chest.
Yeah.
And all I could think of in the back of my head was, How do I take care of my daughter and her mom from the sick bed?
Right. And that definitely changes your perspective on things.
My whole perspective, yeah.
So before you get in that situation, that is why you need to get life insurance.
Yeah.
And expect the unexpected, because you just
fear of the unknown is real.
Fear of the unknown is real. That's our tagline, because it is so true. Anything can happen at any time.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the questions and feedback. The guys that I didn't get to will roll into next week. We appreciate your continued support of the show. You can contact James on his website, DM him on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, and he will contact you. So for James Whitfield, Luther James Insurance, I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.